And good evening and welcome to a holiday edition of Aggie Basketball. Dave Fox along with Gary Wilkinson. We're excited to bring you hoops tonight. The Aggies on an absolute roll. They come into this game 11-1, trying to win their 11th game in a row. And Gary, they face an East Tennessee State team that's pretty good. And Ebi Asamoah, their leading scorer, they've got to account for this young man.
Yeah, he's a 6'5" lead guy that can shoot, can score, can drive. He's extremely versatile, like another guy that I'm sure we're going to talk about today. And as he goes, so goes the team. So he's someone that they're going to have to focus on and make sure they keep contained if they want to have a chance to win tonight.
Boy, for that happens. It's the Aggies. It's the Bucks of East Tennessee State, and it's coming your way right now on the Mountain Net West Network and, of course, locally on KMYU TV. Welcome to Logan, Aggie basketball tonight. I mentioned this is a holiday game. It's a little different feel up here because the students are all away on vacation. I should say, Christmas vacation. They're all back home. You told me you didn't even like playing these games when they were this close to the holiday.
Well, you're so spoiled.
Yeah, because the place is rocking.
Yeah, because the place gets unbelievably loud when the students are here. So.
But a good supply of fans.
Yeah, good dedicated Aggie faithful.
No band, no cheerleaders, very few students. But the Aggies are ready to go, and they are hot this year. And great Asamoah takes the ball in the post, kicks it back out, and here we go. Mason Falslip turns and puts the Aggies on the board and one.
I watched Mason in warm-ups today, and he seemed pretty dialed in. You can kind of see the focus and the aggression that he has come out and play. So.
You told me you thought he might have a big night because he really struggled Saturday against San Francisco. Only had 4 points in that game.
Yeah, you come off games like that, and you generally like to get yourself back on the right foot as he's been playing all season long so well.
And he's got the first three of the game for the Aggies. The freshman out of nearby Skyview High School from Benson, Utah, East Tennessee State. The Bucks come in 7-4. They play out of the Southern Conference. And Utah State, of course, 11-1. Three-pointer on the way. Oh, he was hit as it went up, and Jaden Seymour connects.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Sprinkle before the game, and he says this is a tough team. They're a team that makes it to the NCAA tournament quite frequently. They have a great culture. So Aggies need to come out locked in.
Three-pointer corner, Brown, no. And Asamoah runs that down. New clock for the Aggies. I'm not sure they reset that. Martinez. And there's a foul, so that will not count. Yeah, ETSU, East Tennessee, you're right. They're one of those teams that always just seem to pop up in the tournament.
Yeah, and, we talked about last time how Aggies have a culture of winning no matter what coaches come in. We've always seemed to find some success, and that's culture. I think that the same thing is fitting with the Bucks.
Martinez connects. He's an 81% free throw shooter. Now, how about this, Gary? Ebi Asamoah, we talked about him. 2 fouls already in the first minute of this game.
Yeah.
And he goes to the bench.
Yeah, it's not something you like to see from your leading scorer, right? Having to sit the bench the very first couple minutes of the game.
He missed a game a couple of games ago because of injury. He was there when they played Missouri, Kansas City on Wednesday. So they played just 2 nights ago and then had to travel. But, yeah, that hurts having your leading scorer on the bench. And how about Isaac Johnson coming up with a turnover? And here come the Aggies.
This is where Great's going to have to make some adjustments to his game. A lot of teams are starting to scout him because of the numbers that he's putting up. And the great thing is he's been patient. So if he can just wait out those double teams and make some good decisions and make it hard for teams to double team him, he's going to find a way to keep putting up those numbers.
Falslip again. So he's already got 5 of the Aggies' 7. That's an interesting point about the more you play, the better you play, the more you get scouted.
Yeah, the more attention you get.
Yeah, exactly. Three-pointer on the way. And how about Jaden Seymour? And he's got all 6 of ETSU's points.
we've had a couple players from other teams just come out just burning hot, putting up big numbers, and the Aggies find a way to cool them down.
Osborne in traffic and loses the ball. He got triple deemed in the post, and here we go. Seymour again. So he's got 2 threes and a jam. Wow, Jaden Seymour out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Wichita State transfer. Averages 12 a game, and he's already got 8. All 8. Falslev. Oh, just shorted that little reverse. I wouldn't say the Aggies by any means have started some games slow, but great Osibor has.
Yeah.
Some of the games we've done. But you got to watch out when he starts to light up. Another 3. Oh, and Osibor fouls Seymour. So he's got all 8 points, and now he gets 3 free throws.
Yeah. And when you get into a rhythm like that, you watch the first couple of shots go down. The hoop gets bigger. Your confidence starts to skyrocket, and then you just start to get in a good rhythm throughout the game. So you want to probably try to put some handcuffs on him here early.
77% free throw shooter, but misses the first. He averages 12 points and 7 rebounds a game, and against UMKC on Wednesday, he had 12 points and 7 rebounds. Right on his average. But he's on his way to eclipsing that tonight. Already with 9, going for 10. And how about that? A 1-for-3 trip to the line for a normally 77% free throw shooter. Osibor skip pass. Here we go. 3's on the way. And Osibor back up, but can't finish. A little bit of traffic in there, and here come the Bucks. Layup. Shot clock violation. So Gary, a great defensive stand for the Aggies that time.
Yeah, they were able to just lock him down and keep him on the perimeter on that one.
So that 54-53 win over San Francisco, and Danny Sprinkle, we talked about how he had this opportunity, had the best start ever for a first-year Aggie coach at 11-1. I mean, just phenomenal. In that game, I was at that game, and it just, I mean, there were times when you just thought it'll be a miracle if they win this. Yeah. And they just, I'm not trying to take anything away from them, but just so many things went right for them, and they just forced their hand late in the game, and it was really impressive to see as there's a foul underneath to Osborne, but just a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, persevering through a tough game, shooting game like that's
awful. Yeah.
And, to a certain extent, I mean, it's difficult, but as a coach, you like to see your team be able to find a different way to win rather than just making baskets.
Yep. Well, 30% on their field goals and 9.5% three-point shooting. I mean, 2 for 21. That's just nuts.
Yeah.
And you still win the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't win too many games shooting like that.
Utah State has not scored since the 1808 mark. Nearly 3 minutes of a drought. But you can still play defense, and that's what they're doing, and that's why it's 9-7.
And that's the one thing that Osibor does so well. I mean, he draws fouls as well as anyone I've seen. I mean, he's got Asamoah on the bench already with 2 fouls,
how about
and
that?
then he just drew another foul. So he may not be putting points on the board, but he's making an impact in other ways.
He's keeping him busy.
Well, he draws so much attention.
Oh, Brown. They're going to count the basket. Did they call a foul on that?
No, I don't know. I wasn't quite sure what the call is because the basket went in.
I think other than to tell us the basket was good. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that ties it up. Brown, by the way, still leads the nation in assist-to-turn ratio as defense again. Once again, Isaac Johnson. False sleeve. Brown. Osobor just looks like he lost the handle, Gary, on his way up.
Yeah. He's going up for the dunk and just slipped out of his hand.
But as you said, draws another foul.
Yeah. It's good to see your big man going up with some aggression like that to throw it down. It's good, strong, solid play.
He must have got hit in the nose. He's got some cotton in there.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Aduje getting set to check in. And Great misses the first. Osobor, a 64% free throw shooter.
You know, one of the things that a lot of people don't understand is how the mental game that you have to play. And the season that Osobor has had so far, he's now beginning to have these expectations of himself to be able to continue to play that well. He puts a lot more pressure on himself. Hopefully he can just let that go and just keep playing the game that he's played all season long. He's been playing so well.
That's his first point of this game, averaging 17 points a game to lead the Aggies. The young man out of England that came to Utah State with Danny Sprinkle from Montana State last year. Watch out for Seymour. He scored all their points. Shot clock down to 3. And he had to just throw that up. I mean, it was Mackie Johnson knew the clock was about to expire, so another great defensive stand by the Aggies.
Yeah, and versatility on the defensive end. They switch everything on the perimeter. And the one thing about East Tennessee is they don't have a game to go down low to the block. So if the Aggies' perimeter defense holds up, they're going to have a hard time scoring throughout this game.
Oh, Brown. False sleeve for 3 and just a little bit off. And Martinez. He misses. There's bodies all over the place. Let's get this sorted out. I think Lane Barney with the call. No, it's D.G. Nelson. A couple of officials here that are from the Beehive State. We know D.G. Nelson well, and Lane Barney from Richfield.
You asked if we knew where that was.
Yeah, I said, Lane, come on. Driven through Richfield many, many times on the way to Southern Utah. Brown, 3. Boy, the anemic three-point shooting is hanging over from the Delta Center.
Yeah. And that was a great offensive stretch. You kind of just settle for.
And a layup at the other end. And Gary, the Aggies are 0 for 5 on three-pointers.
Yeah, and they're not establishing much down low at this point either, but the Bucks are giving Osobor fits with their double team.
And Seymour still the only player to score for East Tennessee. He's got all 11 of their points. I mean, what a line he's got. 4 for 4 on his field goals, 2 for 2 on his threes.
And that's one thing sometimes you forget. You look at the leading scorers, you look at the guys that are really producing, and you forget this is Division I basketball. Everyone that's playing here has been successful at some level, otherwise they wouldn't be here, and they have the capacity to really put numbers on the board. So you really can't take your foot off the pedal with any one player. They'll make you pay.
Well, Seymour, a transfer from Wichita State. So to your point, that's a good program.
That's a great program. Yeah. I had a number of teammates throughout my professional career from Wichita State. Yeah.
Oh, turnovers. Aduje just couldn't hang on to that, lost the ball right to the end. Then he comes down and blocks it, but D.G. Nelson calls a foul.
His first, second team foul.
It's kind of tough to see where the foul is on that one, but D.G. probably saw something I didn't.
Well, Andy Hill and Danny Sprinkle both talking to D.G., so apparently they didn't see it either. Right. Although, I mean, what coach ever really sees a foul?
Or player, yeah.
Kumari Peterson, he's an 80% free throw shooter and connects on that one. First point by a Buccaneer not named Seymour. Can you believe that? That free throw. The Seymour streak has briefly come to an end. Aduje, and he can't hit the three, and the three-point drought is now 0 for 6.
The Aggies are going to be in the bonus here soon.
Yeah, East Tennessee already at 5. Wow. 3 of 12 overall, and as I said, 0 for 6 on the threes. So whatever shooting disease they caught at the Delta Center has worked its way up to Logan.
Yeah, hopefully they find a cure for that here
exactly.
soon.
They hit 2 of their first 3. You remember how hot Foslev was at the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Since then, they're 1 for 9. Brutal.
Yeah, when you come off here's Seymour again.
Rare miss for him. And another 3. They just love to fire away. They practice a lot of threes, I notice, even in their warm-ups.
Yeah.
They'll go through some routines, and then they'll all shoot threes.
Yeah, and like I said, they play a lot on the perimeter. They're not looking for anything down low. Yeah. So if you can contain that, you're gonna put some pressure on them.
Aggie basketball, the Mountain West Network, and locally on KMYU TV. Back here in Logan, Dave Fox along with Gary Wilkinson. Tyson Ewing with us on Stats tonight. A few of the fans enjoying it here. Now the Aggies will all enjoy some Christmas vacation after tonight's game. The Aggies' next game will be on January 2nd when they open Mountain West play at Air Force. Our next game will be January 6th when Colorado State comes here. And Gary, I cannot wait for that. This place will be rocking.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a great game to open with at the Spectrum there. Colorado State's playing so well this year.
Really good team.
Be a lot of fun to watch and be a part of.
Aduje draws the foul. And there they are, like you said, at least trying to get to the basket.
Yeah, they need to establish stuff inside the paint, get the ball going, and here Aduje goes up, creates contact, forces the player to draws a foul, and gets to the line.
That's a pretty easy call.
Yeah.
65% free throw shooter, along with great Osobor. Aduje, also from England. Coastal Carolina transfer.
That was for the Aggies. Number 22, Javon Jackson.
Javon Jackson will come in. He did not play against San Francisco last Saturday, so this is his first action in a couple of games.
Yeah, his minutes have been sporadic throughout the year. Some games he'll get a good burn, and then other games he just helps his team by cheering him on.
Yeah. By the way, also into the game, 34, Khalifa Saka. What a game he had against San Francisco. How about banking one in for Seymour? And he continues to fill it up. But back to Sacco, 7 points, 3 rebounds. Doesn't sound like a lot, but he gave the Aggies some quality minutes in that win as he just turned the ball over against San Francisco, but really helped out when they really needed it.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him defensively. He's versatile. He can get out. He can change the shots down low. And even watch on this end of the court when the Aggies switch on the perimeter D. I mean, all 5 players are moving between guards and bigs.
Right.
They just have a lot. And Seymour's hitting tough shots. He's not like they're not contested.
Well, and he's hitting them to the tune of 5 for 6. He has 13 of their 14 points. And in the post, good defense for Osobor. So the Aggies scored on their first 3 possessions. Looked good early on. Things were happening. Since then, they've scored on just 3 of the last 12.
Yes. Well, and the 0 for 6 from 3 doesn't help.
Yeah. 3-pointer on the way. And that won't go for Asamoah, who's back into the game. A tip in there, but Ebi Asamoah, leading scorer, is back in the game, and a 4-point lead for ETSU, and Danny Sprinkle wants a timeout.
Well, you look at ETSU, they're happy, they're high-fiving, they're enjoying themselves, they're playing, they're having fun. That's the type of stuff you don't want to see as an opposing team. You want to see some frustration on their faces, and they're getting in there. They're being scrappy. Shots are falling for them now. The Aggies need to find another way to turn it up defensively so they can change the faces of the Bucks here.
They're on a 13-5 run in just the last 7 minutes, which explains the smiling faces. I feel like all the games we've done, though, Gary, even Southern Utah, Irvine, San Diego, maybe not Northwest Nazarene, but it's like there's been a slow start.
Yes, I agree.
To a degree, not like they're getting blown out, and then, you flip a switch and things come back. That game against San Francisco was just phenomenal, neck and neck the whole way. But we won't count those trends because it was at the Delta Center. But that was a lot of fun and a good crowd on hand there as well. Osobor in the post. Drive, no. By the way, also into the game, Carson Templin. He's another one, Gary, that did not play against San Francisco, but getting some early minutes here.
Yeah, and he's aggressive on the boards. He's a guy that's going to get in there, scrap, come up with a few loose balls, maybe get his hands in the passing lane. He's a guy that will bring you some good quality minutes.
East Tennessee really not a great shooting team on the season. They're at 39%. The Aggies hitting 50%. But just like that, here they go again. Oh, Osobor got up there to block the putback of Jaden Parker, but he's going to get a foul.
Yeah, here goes. Osobor is capable of getting this, but we miss a box out because Templin has to help over. Guy, someone needs to help the helper on that.
Help the helper, very familiar term. A lot of people may not be aware of, but coaches harp on that.
I think that I had that burned into my soul with Coach
if you
Morrill.
played for Stu Morrill, you definitely had that burned.
You know about helping the helper.
By the way, speaking of Stu, we're excited that in early February, upcoming game, there will be a special ceremony as they rename this court the Stu Morrill basketball court.
Oh, I mean, I couldn't imagine a more fitting honor for that guy.
Absolutely.
He's phenomenal.
I assume you and a number of his players will be here that night.
Absolutely. We was asked to give a little comment on Coach Morrill and the impact that he had on us as players and individuals, and I don't think it can be overstated.
Drive and score. Darius Brown. Yeah, Stu. I mean, when you think Aggie basketball long term, that's the first name that comes to mind.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
By the way, that basket represents the first assist of the game for the Aggies, and we're close to 9 minutes to play in the first half.
Yeah.
It's the first assisted basket right there.
Well, I was going to mention that. Usually their assist, I mean, obviously with Brown, we've talked their assist-to-turnover ratio, but their ability to find guys to make shots is something that's caused teams some havoc this year, and that's not happening earlier in this game.
That's amazing it took that long, really. So Isaac Johnson going to the free throw line after the foul. And as you mentioned earlier, the Aggies close to being in the bonus. Well, now that's the 8th foul on ETSU. Utah State's only got 4.
And you can give thanks to Osobor for that. He's drawn a significant number of those fouls.
Boy, Johnson, an 81% free throw shooter. Just a very rare miss for him. Peterson right to the rack. No, shorted it. Gets it back. Three-pointer. No. And the Aggies have it. Here they come. Javon Jackson bringing the ball up. And again, maybe a little bit out of control, but look at the fight for Johnson. Still has the ball in the post. 3 guys on him, and he scores. Oh, my word.
I love that.
That looked like you back in the day.
I'm not sure Coach Sprinkle loved that, but Johnson had made up his mind that that ball was going to go in the basket, or something else was going to happen because he was he fought
was not
for everything.
giving it up.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah, what a fight. Offensive fouls going the other way.
Yeah.
Braden Illis with the foul. And Illick out of Morristown, Tennessee, the 6'9" sophomore.
Brown's one of those guys that kind of just stays in there, and he just gets frustrating over the course of the game because he's right up in your grill playing defense, forcing you to make tougher passes or dribbles. And
Aduje. And Aduje up and in.
Yeah, he's so capable of that. And we've seen that twice. Getting into the defender's body. He's athletic enough to find a way to get the shot up or get to the line.
Aggies take the lead. You know, it's funny in that San Francisco game, it's the same way. San Francisco would go up 5 or 6. Aggies would fight right back and take them. They just kept being resilient.
Yeah.
Quite a game and a big one for them to get that victory. Right now, the Aggies with the lead, 18-17. Here on KMYU TV locally and the Mountain West Network. Well, in a bit of a coincidence, shooting percentages, Gary, are identical.
Yeah. Aggies shooting 35.3%. The Bucks shooting 35.3%. They just got us beat on three-pointers with us shooting 0% from three.
Well, as I mentioned, the start of this game, the first 2 minutes, the Aggies hit 2 of the first 3 shots. Then they went ice cold for 8.5 minutes. And now in the last 2 minutes, they've hit 3 of their last 4 shots. So when people say basketball is a game of trends, it certainly is, as Javon Jackson hits a 3, and that extends the Aggies' run to 9-0.
Yeah, maybe watching one go in from deep will help energize the rest of the team to have some confidence shooting the ball.
And that 9-0 run has given the Aggies a 21-17 lead. Utah State trying to get to 12-1 and going for a 10th straight win, and another rebound for Isaac Johnson. He's now got 6 rebounds, Gary.
Yeah, well, 4 of them came off that one offensive time down the court, but he's been aggressive.
And this time down, they're going to tie it up. But you're right, he got a few on that one, and that's going to go the Buccaneers' way. Boy, any way you can get it done, though, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, as a coach, you'll take that type of aggressive rebounding all day, every day. He's coming in and putting in some great minutes. He's being aggressive. You'll live with a few mistakes with your players playing like that.
Now, I mentioned the trend that the Aggies were on. For the Bucks, they started 5 for 10 on their field goals. Since then, 1 for 9. And a three-pointer will not go, and now it's 1 for 10 as they've gone ice cold. The Aggie defense certainly contributing to that.
Yeah, absolutely. They're so scrappy defensively and athletic and versatile. They make it difficult for a lot of teams.
Aduje. Still a lid on that three-point shot. They do the only three-pointer in the game for the Aggies is off Javon Jackson.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure Aduje was ready to shoot that. I mean, Brown was wide open, so is it just a quick pass? And
oh, dear. ETSU has now missed their last 8 shots.
Utah State needs to capitalize on that and start to build a lead.
Johnson again. Oh, turns, puts up that little hook, and then goes back and fights for the ball, but there's a foul called. Lane Barney says, committed a foul there.
The game's getting called tight. That's a nice spin move off there. Season opening. That looked like a pretty clean jump ball to me.
That's the first foul for Johnson.
Not quite sure where they're discussing here.
Well, they are. Let's see if they're going to go to the replay. Yep, and they are. You never know what direction these are going. Is there a clock issue or whatever the case may be?
Right.
So the Aggies with 1 3-pointer. They had 2 against San Francisco and still won the game.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's the thing that's keyed up to their defense. They were able to just keep enough pressure on them defensively that they could have a tough shooting night like that and still come away with a win.
And that San Francisco team, that was a good team.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a quality win.
Yeah, I think it's games like that you kind of need heading into conference. So you don't get to have an 11-1 record this far into the season. Yeah. You don't want to get too puffed up.
Right.
You want to go in with the right type of confidence, not thinking that you're going to walk through conference play, but to be ready for tough games.
Well, that's a good point because you see a lot of teams that have pretty lofty records this time of year. But you don't really know who they're playing until you look it up and you realize, okay, that's why they're 10-0.
Right.
But, they've got – you talk about Irvine and San Diego and obviously San Francisco. Even that road win at Santa Clara was big. Mm-hmm. So they've got some quality wins on their schedule. But
it's not – look, Division I basketball, no matter what level, it's not easy to get an 11-1 record.
No.
You can look at the strength of schedule a little bit, but – I think Coach Sprinkle was really smart in how he scheduled this year. You have so many unknowns. You want to come in and you give your team an opportunity to build. And I think that's what he's done. And they've really, I think, exceeded expectations to a pretty significant degree.
And there's a few teams in the Mountain West that have lofty preseason records, namely Colorado State.
Yes.
And we're going to find out quickly which one of those two teams for real when they play here. And we'll have that game for you on January 6th.
Yeah. Even without the students, there's a pretty good turnout tonight.
Yeah, really good turnout of fans.
Yeah. It's just the students make the difference.
Oh, they're just phenomenal here. The officials still discussing this. Hopefully we get DG to come over here and tell us what's going on. First time these two teams have ever played. East Tennessee has played other teams here in Utah. I know they played BYU and Weber State, but these two have never faced off.
I don't know what the weather's like there, but I'm sure they came here.
In East Tennessee?
Yeah.
Well, the weather here is balmy.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it could have been, I tell you.
Well, whatever this discussion is, it is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Because they're taking their time. Jaden Seymour still, of course, the leading scorer for the Bucks. He's 5 of 8, 13 points. The rest of the team is 1 for 13.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is if you have a player starting to go off like that, then you put the handcuffs on them and you start making other players step up.
Let's see if we can figure out what this is all about. Wow, so didn't realize this, but we've got a flagrant foul. So we got free throws coming for ETSU, and of course it's Seymour, and then they're going to get the ball back. I didn't see anything that would warrant a flagrant foul, and it appears it was on Johnson. And he misses.
Yeah, that's a pretty – I don't know what constitutes a flagrant foul then, because I didn't see anything that would require that.
And he misses them both. So they don't get the points. They do get the basketball back. And it's also, as the official refers to it, a common foul. So it appears Johnson picks up both. Now, DG's still talking to the scores table. I don't know if they've indicated that yet on the scoreboard. But that was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the end result is Aggies still lead 21-17. East Tennessee missed both the free throws, but they do have the basketball.
So now they're trying to establish some scoring down low, get the ball in the paint because shots aren't falling for them like they were at the beginning of the game.
They have not scored in close to 5 minutes, and the drought continues. The 9:58 mark, Gary, was the last time that the Bucks scored.
Yeah, and the Aggies just keep pushing them out, making them take tough shots, and they're not falling like they were before.
Fall slip. What a pass. Udashe.
He's got amazing court awareness. His ability to be patient, not force a shot, find his teammates. He does so many things for this team.
Kick out three. Peterson got it.
That was hard. Jackson had to help on Johnson, got beat. Couldn't get back to his guy in time.
Well, that ends their scoring drought. Approaching 4 to play in the half. Brown right to the rack, and he shorted it. So 3-point Aggie lead, 4 minutes to play first half. And at the other end, roofed. And a fight for the ball. Oh, is he calling a foul?
Wow.
Oh, G.G. Nelson calling the foul. So I thought we had a tie-up.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
Aggies by 3. Back here in Logan, we like to call this the Christmas game. Christmas in just a couple of days. Most of the students that don't live here have gone home for Christmas vacation. The band apparently went with them. There's that. This is that last play.
Yeah.
I don't know where you see a foul in there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the refs are calling this tight. I've never seen a foul called in a circumstance like that myself.
When you're fighting for the ball.
You're fighting for the ball. Players are on the floor.
Well, Boyd misses the free throw.
Yeah, and the Bucks are really struggling from the free throw line. I mean, they're at 33% coming out of that timeout. Now even worse than that.
That's bad enough for field goal shooting, but for free throws, even worse.
Right.
And Falslev can't get that to fall. He's actually the leading scorer for the Aggies in this game. Or actually, Uduje just passed him with that previous shot that he made. And how about that? Peterson.
It's a good, strong move.
Under. Yeah.
Finding space between the defenders, making a nice left-handed reverse.
Brown. And Brown got it. That's a 2-point shot.
That's what makes him so dangerous. He's such an unselfish player, but he definitely has the capability of stepping up and making big shots.
It's really amazing to me. There's a good crowd in here right now as Falslev tries to get to the basket, but not having the students in the band, it's almost a game changer in this building.
Yes.
It's a completely different feel. They bring so much energy, and you know that. You played through that. Another missed three. And here come the Aggies.
The students bring the electricity. The fans are supportive, but the students are just something different here.
Three-pointer for Mason Falslev. Well, I think the fans in the entire building, they're great, but they kind of feed off of the students and the band.
Right. The students lead the way, for sure. That was a timely three from Mason there.
That lob a little bit behind Seymour. He's not able to finish. That was a timely three. And traveling.
If you're a post player bringing the ball up, you better make sure that you make the right play.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your guards and your coach are going to give you an earful.
Yeah, that's a great point. You stay in your lane, as they say.
Yep. Yep. I just dribble it up and give it to the guards. Then I don't have anything to worry about.
Oh, I can't even imagine, Stu, if you'd taken it up, made a couple of behind-the-back moves, gone around the world, taken it down baseline, then back out. Oh.
Yeah, he would not have been
You'd have been on the bench. What a good coach he was, though. You guys had some really good teams.
I love playing for Coach Morrill. It wasn't an easy experience by any stretch of imagination. He has high expectations, but I'm definitely a better person for it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's more what you look back on.
Yeah.
And remember,
Yeah. There's not too much that anyone's going to say to me that's going to hurt my feelings.
That's a good point. 4 fouls now, by the way, for Braden Illick. Yeah, and that team you had with who else was on that team? Wesley was on that team.
Tyler Newbold, who led the nation in assisted turnover ratio.
3-pointer on the way. No. Yeah, you had a really good team.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, unselfish. I can't tell you how many people in this valley come up and just want to talk about that team and the way that things were and Aggie basketball. I love watching this team. This team's been so fun to watch.
Very scrappy. They are a lot of fun. The real mark will come when we get into league play, and we'll see, because our next broadcast will be against Colorado State. Cannot wait for that one. And Osibor just hacked on that one.
Yeah.
And you're right. The Bucks are making a concerted effort to try to slow this guy down.
Yeah, he gets the ball, and then you got double team coming right away. The one thing I'll say, he's kind of fading away from contact. He's drawing fouls like crazy, but as he gets the ball down there, he's going to have to be stronger and stronger to finish, because he's going to see this all year long. He's difficult to stop one-on-one.
And how about this, Gary? Braden Illick has already fouled out. It's not quite as loud from the student section when they do the left-right thing.
Right.
But they're working it. Did you see that? He just did a little stutter step to try to – he's doing it again. He's trying to throw him off.
He seemed to have fun with it.
He did.
Good for him.
Well, it being not quite as loud, you can hear a lot more specific, people.
Right. And the general audience isn't. No, they're not orchestrated in that yet. They'll.
But make no mistake, there is a good crowd of non-students, if you will, as that shot will not go up again. And Osibor clears the board. Here come the Aggies. Brown, corner three, no, he'll pass. And drawing the foul, so free throws coming for Ian Martinez. Martinez only 2 points tonight. And Gary, again, on that game Saturday against San Francisco, he had 20, and he had just come off a career high.
Yeah. Well, it's hills and valleys for basketball players, but generally, if they can keep the confidence up, it'll weaven out throughout the year.
Back here in Logan, Ian Martinez at the free throw line. But, Gary, let's talk a little bit about the work Osibor is doing, getting the Bucks in foul trouble.
Yeah, he's one stat you look at is fouls drawn, and he has 7 fouls that he's drawn this game. He has 6 total points, but, he's put a player that gets a lot of minutes. Now he's fouled out, and he put Ebby on the bench early.
Right.
So he's making an impact on this game. It may not show up in points or rebounds, but he's definitely making an impact. Even though he's got 7 rebounds as well, which is that's nothing to shake a stick at. That's a solid game.
Well, and nobody else is even close to that on the fouls drawn. Seymour's drawn 4, but Osibor's really done his work. That is a tough shot, and it goes in for Asamoah. That's why he is such a good player.
Yeah.
We've been hovering right around that 4-5 point lead. Remember, the Aggies were up to 8 at one point, but the Bucks just hanging around, and Jaden Seymour pleading his case.
And Osibor drew another foul.
Yeah, so now he's up to 8, and he's going to the free throw line.
The hard thing is he's so tough in terms of fighting for position.
And they're in the bonus at 15 minutes.
Right.
Holy smokes.
1 plus the bonus.
That's unreal.
Yeah, that's thanks to Osibor.
That hurt, yeah.
He's drawn 3 or 4 in this half, just on himself.
Boy, that hurts from a coaching standpoint, too. You don't want to see that.
And who do you switch on to him right now?
Yeah.
You don't want Seymour getting into foul trouble because you're leading scorer tonight. Who else are you going to throw at him to try to contain him?
And Seymour's got 3.
Right.
Well, they have 3 players on the court right now with 3 fouls, so they obviously have to be careful, and every foul for the rest of the night is free throws for the Aggies.
And they're playing such scrappy D. It's fun to watch players get after it like they're getting after it.
Shot clock at 3. Oh.
Hey.
Wow.
You live with that.
What a shot. Impressive shot for ETSU. And still a 4-point game. Isaac Johnson struggling a little bit in that post. Back into the post. Osibor scores. No foul, but he's got 2.
Yeah, he's getting up into double digits scoring. He's been able to establish himself down on the block, and credit to Coach Sprinkle coming out this half and trying to find him and create offense for him. That's going to help throughout this half if the Aggies continually struggle from the perimeter with their shooting.
How about Falslick being wide open for that 3 and passing it up to feed it into Osibor? Air ball. Osibor down. Martinez! And there's a technical foul. I think here's the situation. DG Nelson calling the tee. And I think the situation was Martinez felt like he was fouled. I think everybody thought he was fouled.
Yeah.
Take a look, Gary. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, he goes up for this dunk, and you have a player just clip the back. It was like, I don't think anything intentional by it, but if that's a no call, then you just let the player talk and move on with the game. We've had some really tough calls that have gone against the Aggies.
So Danny Sprinkle can't believe that a technical foul was called. Oh, they're 0 for 3 on technical foul free throws, by the way.
Yeah.
This will be the 4th free throw they've shot because of a technical foul, and they've missed the previous 3, and they made one.
Yeah, I mean, the Aggies have to be grateful at the free throw shooting from the Bucks, because if they make out their free throws even at 80%, this is a different type of
totally
game.
Different game, yeah. I'm sure that's something that Coach Brooks Savage will address with his team, although it is improving in this second half. In fact, they're actually 5 of 6 for free throws in the second half, but they were just awful in that first half.
Yeah.
So they got that corrected. And a foul in the post as Ebi Asamoah draws the foul on Darius Brown.
This game's starting to get a little bit of an edge to it.
It is.
You got to, as a player, you got to start reining it in, because the refs are hearing it from both coaches. They don't want to start hearing it from the players either. So,
well, that's probably why Martinez got that technical. I assume it was Martinez because he wasn't pointing at the coaches.
Yeah, I agree.
They never did say who. But, all right, well, we got a wild one here, but right now the Aggies still hanging on. It's a 7-point lead on KMYU TV and the Mountain West Network. Aggie basketball on the Mountain West Network. That's a lot of words.
Yeah.
Mountain West Network and locally on KMYU TV. And Mountain West, I was just thinking about that because their next game will be a league game as a 3-pointer on the way in is shorted. And they will be opening up league play at Air Force on January 2nd. Foul and one. Ian Martinez.
Brown's got great vision. Find him open Martinez down the floor as he comes down. That's a tough pass. Great vision. Great finish. He's so athletic. Getting up in the air, you're going to have to wrap him up if you want to stop him, because he's very adept at finishing the plays like that.
Martinez now 7 points, coming off a huge game against San Francisco. Played at the Delta Center last Saturday. He had 20 points, 8 rebounds. He had 5 steals in that game too, Gary. That was just huge.
He did it all. He stepped up and just came up everywhere they needed a player. He was there.
13-5 run now for Utah State as they've opened up a 9-point lead, and we got a kick ball. Lane Barney making the call there, one of our officials from right here in the state of Utah.
And Darius coming up with some steals, makes an assist. He's doing it all over the court, offensively and defensively.
Well, we keep talking about how he leads the nation in assist to turnover ratio. He's actually second in the nation in assists per game, and 7.5 assists per game is a lot in college basketball. You know that.
Yeah, it's impressive. They don't let you put the ball down, then shoot it like the NBA. You know?
Right. Yeah, you can take a few steps.
Right.
Couple dribbles. 13-5 run now in the last 4 minutes. Falslev. And now he's drawn a foul.
Well, Alcibor returned the favor for that good pass earlier back to Mason so he could finish it. This is one area Mason can focus on improving his game.
Free throw shooting?
Yeah, he's so talented. I'm sure he will.
45%.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that would be the case. By the way, Peterson, he just picked up his 4th foul. So, Gary, all these fouls drawn, a lot of East Tennessee Bucks getting into foul trouble again.
Yeah, that's been the Aggies' saving grace tonight, is putting the Bucks in foul trouble, messing up their rotations, and getting players out of rhythm. That's been helpful for them.
Falslev out of Skyview High School, state football champions his senior year. Originally was going to go to Utah, ends up here at Utah State, and well, we talked about he's about 45%, went 50% on that trip.
Yeah. Well, with his skill set, that's a summertime job.
You work on that,
yeah. I think Utah State's magic number is 70 here. They're 9-0 when they've reached 70 points, so they're 20 points away from that.
Well, and Alcibor, Gary, just picked up his 4th foul.
Yeah.
And that looked like a foul that he really needed to pick up, but he did.
No, and I think I've seen a couple of those tonight where he kind of they were kind of throwaway fouls where it really wasn't going to move the needle any which way.
I'm pretty sure they're pointing at Carson Temple on that. He was fighting like crazy to get that rebound, but he gets the foul.
I think they're both fighting for it. I agree with that. He kind of came over the back.
Yeah.
I don't mind the fight. I mean, but sometimes that's going to be a foul, right?
Seymour, he has been so good. And that ball's tipped up and in by Asamoah. So back to an 8-point Aggie lead. They have scored on 7 straight possessions. Can they make it 8? And Falslev cannot connect. Oh, how about that little scoop by Rice? Won't go in, but he is headed to the free throw line.
Yeah, he just needs to stay down on this shot. If he just keeps his body straight, he just tried to adjust to there. That would have been a tough shot if he finished that. Sometimes you just got to let the player, if it finishes a tough shot, that's the way it goes.
Tyler Rice out of Columbia, South Carolina, and connects. That's only his 5th free throw this season. He hasn't shot many of them. The transfer from William and Mary.
I'm surprised that the Bucks aren't putting anyone down to rebound with the free throw shooting.
Yeah, no kidding. With the guy who hasn't even shot many this year. And sure enough, well, you were right. And Sacco checks back into the game, and he comes up with that rebound. So right now, the only starter in the game for Utah State is Brown. Oh, excuse me, Martinez. He's still in there, and Martinez scores.
Right on cue.
There you go. And a reach in on Javon Jackson. We're going to have to get another look at this, but it looks to me like he indeed got a little handsy.
Well, with 15 minutes, the Aggies only had 2 fouls. Now the refs are catching up on the foul count, putting the Bucks at the line.
There have been 38 fouls called in this game, Gary, and with a number like that, the Aggies are fortunate that the Bucks have really struggled at the free throw line, shooting less than 50% on free throws before that one.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like we talked about earlier, it's a different game if they're making their free throws.
Oh, totally different, yeah. And there you go, 50%. I mean, they're just under 50% of the game.
Right.
And Asamoah goes 50% on that trip.
It's almost like their best defense is just to put them at the line.
Yeah, exactly. The one shot you can't defend.
Because because they're shooting better from three. They're shooting better from the field goal than they are the free throw line.
Oh, Martinez forcing the action. And the ball just got away from Jackson. And here come the Bucks. Eastern Tennessee Buccaneers out of the Southern Conference. Brooks Savage, their first-year head coach. And a wild shot there. But yeah, that's going to go the other way.
The Aggies are in the bonus.
Well, the Aggies have they fouled out yet another player. You can hear the fans letting them know as Jaden Parker fouls out, the young man from North Carolina. He's a transfer from North Florida. Oh.
Faked out the audience there.
He did.
He didn't want to sit down when they told him to sit down.
They told him to sit down.
They'll wait for him, though, I'm sure.
Sacco at the free throw line. He's not shot. He's only shot 2 free throws this year. And misses that one. There they go. They got him. So Sacco now 1 for 3 at the free throw line this season. And almost got the bounce on that one. So 1 for 4. But he's done a lot of other things. Had that big game against San Francisco. 7 points, 3 rebounds, but he was just very active. Helped the Aggies win that one in a really close game. Oh, just got his pocket picked.
That was a good read by Jackson.
Yeah, great read.
Great help side D.
Brown to the rack, draws the foul. Another foul drawn.
And that's where he gets so dangerous, is because defenders don't know how to defend him. If they need to step back, like on this play, defender comes up to guard the 3, and he's so quick off the dribble, is able to draw the foul and get to the line.
I was thinking back at the beginning of the game, and we know these officials. We go way, DG, we go way back.
Yeah.
Lane's a local guy, and we were just kind of kidding around because Lane lives in Richfield, which is a long drive. So I jokingly just said, all right, well, let's keep the game moving so Lane, can get home. Well, boy, it's been anything but that.
Right. He must not be in that much of a hurry.
Oh, my word. With what are we up to on fouls? 40 fouls now.
That is
40 fouls in this game.
That's an extraordinary amount of fouls.
But if they're committing them, you got to call them.
I guess so.
I do like this officiating crew, though. The one thing they have done is they've kept the game in control.
Yeah.
And there were a couple times when you thought there might be, some tempers flaring, but there never were.
Nope, they've done a good job.
And another foul.
Foul's on number 34. Khalifa Sacco, his first.
Yeah, and he's so long, he doesn't need to put his hand out to defend players on the perimeter. He can just give them some space. I think he can contest shots and guard the drive without having to put his hands out there.
Right. And again, they're not putting anyone to defend the free throws.
Yeah, I haven't seen that rationale.
That's interesting. Unless you're trying to show some incredible amount of confidence, right. But on the last trip, as you remember, that didn't work.
Right.
Well, one thing you don't have to worry about, a player committing another foul, but
yeah, that might be the logic behind it.
But Peterson converts both, so there we go. Back to an 8-point Aggie lead. Approaching 10 minutes to play here. Final game before Mountain West Conference play for the Aggies. Oh, that ball tipped away. Sacco fights for it. He's got it back. And there's a foul here. And again, a scramble for the ball, and DG calls the foul. And this time on Seymour, so it's going the Aggies' way.
I was going to say.
And now he's got 4.
That's the type of thing when you call a game this close, you start to take away from the experience, because players are now playing tentatively or they're on the bench, and it makes it difficult really to get into a good rhythm, and I think it to a certain extent takes away from the viewing experience as well.
Well, that's a great point in terms of just wanting the fans seeing
right.
the best players on the floor, and right now as Sacco hits his first free throw of the game. You've got 3 players with 4 fouls on the floor with 10 minutes to play, and they're key players. Peterson, Asamoah, of course, and Seymour. All 3 of them with 4 fouls, and 2 others have already fouled out.
And one of their starters is fouled out. So they're down in deep into their bench just basically because of foul trouble. I mean, Osabor's on the bench. He's got 4.
Now he's left Coach Savage. Oh, what a block. But Coach Savage has left 2 of his players with 4 fouls on the court.
Yeah,
Asamoah and Seymour still out there.
And I don't think he really has a choice. See, this is what I was talking about with Sacco. He doesn't need to guard him that close out on the perimeter. He's so long and athletic. He doesn't.
Shot is missed.
Good
pass
eyes.
down court. Oh, Brown. And Brown finishes. What a pass from Mason Falso.
Yeah. Those 2 are. And then a turnover from the Bucks. There's an opportunity for the Aggies to turn around and start putting their foot on the pedal to increase their lead.
Aggies up now by 12. 3 starters for East Tennessee State on the floor with 4 fouls each. 9.5 to play. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yep.
Sacco trying to post up. Kick out. Aduje 3. No.
That was good on Sacco's part not to force him. He got surrounded as he got the ball. Able to kick it out, find a teammate.
Seymour 3. He got it. Oh, big basket. And East Tennessee State, as I said, they got 3 starters with 4 fouls on the court. Coach battling to stay in this.
Yeah, Coach Sprinkle's not happy with that. I'm sure at halftime they said, look at what this guy's shooting. We're not giving him any open shots. Make other guys beat us. And they've done a good job at containing Seymour in this half, but even 3 points, Coach Sprinkle's not going to be happy with.
Yeah, 3 of 6 on threes, but you remember he got 2 of them in the first minute of the game. So since then, up until that point, they've done a good job of that. Danny Sprinkle in his first year, what a start to the season. 11-1. Their only loss was their second game of the year, and they lost. That was in overtime at Bradley. I mean, they're a couple of baskets away from being 12-0 right now.
Right. And they're playing with a lot of confidence. They're playing like a team that deserves to be thought of in terms of conference play and what's going on in the country right now. So I think they got a high ceiling if they just keep chipping away and getting better every game.
Well, when you get into league play, that's when we're really going to find out what this team's all about. In the preseason poll, they were picked 9th as Sacco with the flush.
Yeah. And I think most people agreed with that pick in terms of 9th place in the conference, but now watching them, I think it's a different story.
Well, and they came in, as that 3 is missed, with 13 newcomers. And when you do that, that's probably where you're going to get picked.
Right.
But, yeah, you're right. They are proving themselves worthy so far.
Sometimes they get stagnant offensively when Osabor's not in the game because they don't have that post presence that they can go through and kind of facilitate offense.
3-pointer, a little off balance. Offensive board, back up, and Boyd can't convert. And good defense by the Aggies again. Brown, oh, he's quick.
Yeah, he can turn it on. He sees a hole, and that's what he's been doing that all game long. He's been picking his times and finding those holes and getting in and getting easy buckets for the Aggies, which they need.
19 points now for Brown, and he still has 5 assists to go with that.
And no turnovers.
Yeah, again, leading the nation in assist-to-turnover ratio. If we were doing a game tomorrow, Brown's probably the guy we'd talk about in our pregame.
Right.
We just keep mixing it up. That ball hit Aduje in the face, but he hung on to it and then takes it all the way down, and it rolls off the rim. Seymour's been so tough and draws the foul.
Seeing on that, Sacco just uses his size and his length. He doesn't need to come in and put so much pressure on the ball. Just let the ball come to him.
Aggies have opened up a 13-point lead on KMYU Television and the Mountain West Network. Back here in Logan, Dave Fox along with Gary Wilkinson, former Mountain West Conference, or was it WAC back then? Player
it was
of the year.
It was the WAC.
The WAC back
the
then. Man,
Western
things
Athletic.
changed so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyson Ewing on stats for us, who just reminded me that the Aggies have now outscored East Tennessee State 26-14 over the last 10 minutes, and that's why they've opened up this 12-point lead. And again, credit East Tennessee State. They have 3 starters on the floor that have been playing with 4 fouls. And I want to say Peterson, it's been 8 or 9 minutes for him, and he's stayed clean since then.
Yeah, as a coach, you said you got to let plays go by you because you're going to be more
right.
Help us more if you're on the court. Falslev flirting with a double-double tonight.
Martinez, that rolls off. Yeah, and Falslev, you had predicted that coming off that 4-point game against San Francisco where he really struggled. There he's got the turnover. Mason to the rack. Oh, no. Well, you hate to see that. And at the other end, a reverse, and then Falslev commits the foul. That series of about 10 seconds could not have gone worse for him.
That's a 4-point swing.
Yeah.
From a missed dunk to a foul, 3-point, maybe even a 5-point swing. Yeah. I mean, it's amazing that he missed the dunk and then he was the player back to try to stop the play.
Yeah, that's a great point. He had to commit the foul, but he was the player that's back. That's a great point.
But that's a good opportunity. You learn to play through stuff like that. It happens.
So Osibor will come back in now. He's got 4 fouls. Well, one thing in Mason's favor is the Aggies are up by 9, but still.
Right. When you look at the matchup that they have to put on Osibor now, because you got Seymour that's got 4.
Yeah, he
Peterson
can't
has
defend.
4.
Yeah.
So you got to throw a guard on him. First thing I'm doing is going into Osibor right now. Let him double team me, and then I'm looking for my teammates because I know the double team's coming.
Boy, you called that perfectly, and it happened. Martinez right to the rack, and Martinez, he draws the foul. Seymour, by the way, Jaden Seymour, career high 24 points, averages 12. He's got double that tonight against the Aggies.
Well, when you start off like he did, it's hard not to come up with a game like that. Martinez doing what he needs to do, get to the rack, draw the foul, just knock these free throws in. He's had a rough night at the foul line tonight.
Well, we were talking about the free throw shooting for Tennessee, not great. 53% on the game. But the Aggies have missed 9 free throws on the night. 67% though, but Martinez converts there. 9 points now for the transfer from Maryland and the University of Utah. Mountain West Conference Player of the Week. Had a monstrous week, 20 against San Francisco, 28, a career high against Santa Clara, and that game was on the road.
Yeah, he brings a lot. He's like we talked about in pregame. He's versatile. He's athletic. He can score from a variety, and he defends really well.
Aggie lead back to 11, approaching 6 minutes to play, trying to get to 12-1 and win their 10th straight before they get a nice little break before Mountain West Conference play begins in the new year. Seymour on a career high, give him 2 more.
Then you have to watch Osibor. He has to let that go because if he steps up and helps, he's got his 5th foul. But the Bucks brought Hughes in off the bench because they realized real quick that double team on Osibor wasn't going to work. There's another foul he draws.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to guard him that closely, that far from the basket.
That far out, yeah.
Let him let that go, but Osibor makes the right decision and just attacks.
Osibor going to the free throw line. He's 6 of 8 tonight from the free throw line, so he's had a good night. That's his 9th drawn foul now, Gary. Jeez.
That's something you don't necessarily pick up on the stat sheet, but that changes. I mean, look how many players are off the court or can't guard him. He's made a huge impact with his ability to draw some fouls.
He's also flirting with a double-double. You've got Osibor with 11 and 8, and you mentioned Falslev. He's got 9 points and 9 rebounds.
Should be 11 points, but we'll forget that.
Yeah, 12 plus and 8 rebounds. But you're right. He should already be on his way to his halfway to his double-double.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have two-handed slammed it. Because I sensed the ball kind of slipped out right as he got to the rim.
It's hard to dunk like that. Most people think that those wide-open dunks are easy. Sometimes those are what trip you up the most because you're not used to being that wide open.
I saw one in the NBA. It was last night. It was on today's SportsCenter Not Top 10. Oh, the lob. Well, that's a SportsCenter Top 10.
Yeah. And Martinez does that once a game. He's got some highlight where he can throw it down. It's nice to have a player you can just put the ball in the air and let it go. Here's another one.
Osibor, clear path. And he finishes. Largest lead of the night as the Aggies open up a 15-point lead.
And they've hit that magic number. That 70-point mark is generally what's translated into a good winning percentage for them.
You know what the next number is?
Yeah, ice cream number.
Yeah, 80. Three-pointer, no. And a foul. Osibor is now drawn his 10th.
I remember against SUU, he got to the foul line 15 or 16 times. I mean, that's on the board. Here's the lob from Brown. He's got such great vision.
Beautiful.
Just put the ball right where it needed to be.
Great Osibor at the free throw line.
Osibor now 14 points, 10 rebounds. He's got his double-double. And of those 14 points, by the way, 8 are at the free throw line, now 9 of his 15. Here it is again.
Ability to go get it, throw it down easily. It's nice to have those plays. Just kind of help you build some confidence in the game.
Aggies on a 7-0 run, and they did a 7-0 run in a minute and a half. Four minutes to play, and the foul will send Peterson to the free throw line.
Martinez got 4 fouls now.
So you got Martinez and Osibor both with 4 fouls. The difference being their team is up by 16 points with 4 minutes to play.
Right. But crazy things happen.
Yeah.
You want to leave your best players on until you're sure.
Well, if this were to hold up, and again, we still have 4 minutes to play, Danny Sprinkle would continue to add to the best start ever for a first-year Utah State basketball coach. He's already there at 11-1.
Yeah. That's a record that's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, it will be. Oh, Martinez looked at that three. Inside, and again, they just cannot guard great Osibor. That's a tall order for DJ Hughes.
Well, when you're drawing fouls off the ball, I mean, like, what do you do to put a player on him?
Aggies up big, 3:40 to play. We are back. Great Osibor at the free throw line. What a night. 15 points, 10 rebounds. But the number that really jumps off the stat sheet for you, Gary, is the 11 drawn fouls.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the stat of the game. You're putting your opponent's best players on the bench because they're either fouled out or in foul trouble. That's a big stat.
0 for 2 on that trip. Well, Gary, right now in this game, there are 5 players between the two teams that each have 4 fouls, and they've lasted.
Yeah. I think the refs realize, maybe we just need to.
They definitely haven't called as much, have they?
Right.
I mean, when they have to, obviously.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job, but I just think they've adjusted in the game to allow players to just kind of play a little bit.
Oh, Seymour's been so good. He's got a career high. Can't get that one to go, and the Aggies again come away with the basketball. 3 minutes to play coming up. And the Aggies, 71-57. The lob to Osobor. Oh, man, he fell down hard.
Yeah, he hit the ground hard.
And at the other end, Peterson.
That was a nice block by
that was
Martinez.
a great block, but Seymour, of course, who's having just a great night for that young man. He now has 26.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal night. He came to play.
And it started right from the beginning when Ebi Asamoah had to go to the bench.
Yeah.
Remember, he got 2 fouls in a minute.
Right. And Seymour just came out.
Yeah,
and
he just
was
took
ready.
over.
Martinez got that quick first step. You have to respect it. And Falslove with another rebound.
Oh, okay, so that puts him at 10. So he's a point away from a double-double. He has the 10, by the way, is a career high rebounds for Mason Falslove.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like, as a young player, finding a way to make an impact on the game when certain things aren't going your way, he does that.
And he just went to the bench, so apparently he's not going to get a double-double. I doubt he even knows it, but
oh, I would know.
Would you?
For some reason, that stuff just, I mean, maybe not the rebounds. I always knew where I was at other areas, fouls.
Well, you can look up at the
scoreboard. It's hard
and see
not to
points,
know.
But it doesn't have rebounds. How about a three? Duje. His first 3 of the night. And Josh averaging 9 points a game. Under 2 to play. The Aggies up big. In fact, they're going to clear the bench here in a moment as Osobor tips that ball away. Brenchley's going to come in. Landon Brenchley.
Yep. His brother Jackson used to play at the U, transferred to Denver this year.
Both from Ridgeline High School. And also Nigel Burris checks in. Well, Denver, they played BYU this year down in Provo. So we saw his brother.
Yep. He's watched both of those boys play high school. I've known that family for years. Great basketball
Just locally
family.
Up here, yeah. I know they played some football as well, just like Falslove did.
Yep.
Yeah. So Seymour adding to his total. What game he's had.
He's close to 30.
Well, that just gave him 30.
Yeah.
That's his first, well, obviously his first career 30-point game because it's a career high that he's been working on. So, bright spot for East Tennessee State. At the end of the day, when their coaches go back and start looking at film, all they got to do is go to the free throw line.
Right.
And that was their biggest problem. Martinez, kick out. Duje, can he get another? Yes.
It's nice to see some threes falling for the Aggies.
Yeah, especially after Saturday.
Right.
2 for 21 against San Francisco. But tonight the Aggies are 5 of 17. Still not a great percentage, 29, but much better than on Saturday. Is fouled on a 3. So Duje is going to put Samoa at the free throw line, and now Duje gets to 4 fouls.
That's the magic number for players tonight.
Well, ETSU has fouled out 2 of their guys, but Utah State has 3 players with 4 fouls, but none of them really fouled out. Well, and 2 of them are on the bench now. I'm going to assume, well, Carson Templin is getting ready to check in.
He might be getting Martinez or Duje.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he's doing. So Ian Martinez, what a game for Ian Martinez, 13 points. Didn't hit a free throw, but he did have 3 rebounds and assists to go along with it.
Yeah, that's right on his season average, about 12 points.
Right.
I mean, it's nice to know what he's capable of. If you need him to step up, he definitely can put points on the board, but he just comes in, gives you double figures scoring each night. That's a great asset to have on your team.
Well, and we saw that in the last 2 games. The Aggies needed a lift, and he provided it.
That's right. That he had the confidence to step up and do that.
3-pointer on the way. The Aggies got another one. Oh, the fans go nuts for Javon Jackson.
That might mean ice cream, isn't it?
That's exactly why they're going nuts. He hit the ice cream bucket.
Yeah.
And in fact, they're all racing to get to the ice cream shop now. That's going to just about do it. What a big comeback here. I shouldn't say comeback, but they really pulled away late in this second half. And remember, another key, ETSU in the bonus at the 15-minute mark. And the Aggies put them away. The final score of 80-65. And congratulations to Danny Sprinkle and the Aggies. They are 12-1, Gary, headed to Mountain West Conference play.
Yeah, coming into this season, if you would have told me the Aggies would be 12-1 heading into conference play, I would have said that's probably a stretch. But after watching Coach Sprinkle with these guys in a few games, I don't think that it. I think the ceiling's pretty high for them. We'll get a better perspective of that heading into conference play.
Well, and some of the point totals, of course, Brown, he had 19 points. He had 8 assists. I mean, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, with 0 turnovers?
With no turnovers. 13 for Martinez, 15 for Osibor. 4 players in double figures as Aduje also had 12. So really a good night for the Aggies all the way around, and a good way to send us to the Christmas holiday, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a great present for most Aggie fans. Watch this team play the way they're playing and get to enjoy the weekend. They'll have a quick turnaround. I think Sprinkle told me they're back on the 27th ready to go again.
So they do get a few days off for Christmas, though.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yep. But hopefully those few days off doesn't hurt what those season they built. They can just come in, take a little bit of rest, get off their legs, and then get back after it.
Well, Merry Christmas to you as well, Gary, and your family.
Yes.
I know you got plans for the holidays as well. And enjoy. We're 5 games into our schedule as we take a Christmas break, and we'll be back with a 5-game conference schedule. Our next broadcast will be Colorado State on January the 6th. Thanks for joining us, everybody, for our entire crew. Thank you so much. Victory to the Aggies. Have a good night, and Merry Christmas, everyone.